asking me to do it? I told you.
No, pump fake. Oh. I was just pump faking you. Rob's ranks. Yeah. Number 5.
Yes.
5th Rob's ranks. We're getting into this, man.
These are fun.
Yeah, and we have about 3 or 4 awesome topics we're going to get. Hopefully we can get them all in before, once football starts, our Rob's ranks will be more football driven. Yeah. But we want to have a little fun with this.
Sure.
And we've been on the movie topics here. And TV shows, movie and TV, you know, we've been so much to talk about, and, you know, we're kind of all over the place in terms of what we like. We're not aligned on those issues, as we are on a lot of things, actually.
Most things.
Believe it or not.
Say, yeah.
I'm your friend.
We are.
I'm your buddy.
We are.
I'm your pal.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is movie villains. TV villains.
Yeah.
Worst villains of all time. Most hated. The most ruthless. Most ruthless. The guys we love to hate. Could be TV. Could be movies.
Sure.
It could just be something that you hate for a smaller reason, right?
So, okay. Mine I don't necessarily hate. I just think they're good, entertaining. That I wouldn't say these guys are. I didn't go for the dirtiest and darkest and most deprived ones.
I went for the worst.
Okay.
And also, just for me and things I like, that here's what I don't have on my list that could be on some people's list is Dennis Reynolds.
Okay.
Right? Because he's obviously he's essentially Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
You know, like he's turning into that. It's getting worse, right, as seasons go on. No, he's not as bad as the guys I'm going to talk about because he hasn't killed anyone yet that we know of. But it's like Erica hates Dennis.
Really?
And like she's always like, oh, his name's Glenn Howard, and like I hate him. He's a terrible actor. I'm like, actually, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Because you hate him.
Yeah.
That's what he's going for. Right? He's going for that.
You're convinced he's that person.
Narcissistic, like just he's so convincing and so immersed in that role, and almost takes him over. Right? It's like the bad version of Kramer.
He can definitely put himself in that mindset.
Yeah, you got to be a little nuts. But all things I've heard is that he's a pretty good dude. They all are, right? At least we've heard.
Yeah.
Might end up being James Franco. We don't know. Sorry, James. All right, villains. I got a couple honorable mentions here.
Sure.
My first one is Jigsaw.
Okay.
From Saw.
Yeah.
Now, he does usually target weak and or bad people, drug addicts, people that have raped. You know, they're not good people, right? He's like choosing them because they've fucked up their lives or chosen a bad path, and they could have had a lot more.
Yeah.
So that's why he's an honorable mention, because, you know, he's not just necessarily targeting innocent people.
Sure.
And he gives them a way out.
Yeah.
I have a funny Saw story for you, though.
Okay.
I love Saw. I don't know about you. Like, I don't like the whole series. Like, the first Saw, though.
I remember enjoying them when I was younger. Like, first couple, maybe.
Yeah.
And they were entertaining.
I'm more just talking about the original Saw.
Okay.
It was super, you know, it was in the dark times for horror movies. You know, it was after the Scream. It was after the slasher films. There was really nothing, right?
Yeah, it's like that kind ghost stories.
Yeah, ghost stories, which we had a good ghost story, but
not spooky.
I don't like the ghost stories. The haunted house thing doesn't really do it for me.
You got played out.
And the thing is, Saw ended up launching the whole horror, like gore genre.
Sure.
But the original Saw is a super smart movie. It's super independent. It cost like $1 million. But my Saw story is, it came out in 2004, so we were sophomores. Mark Lebrano called me up. I was playing Halo, and what I do is I'd wait for my parents to go to bed. I'd have like a water bottle full of like liquor, and so it'd be like kind of discreet, and because I had to play in my den, so it wasn't like in my room.
Yeah.
And I'd wait for them to like go upstairs, and I'd start fucking sipping on booze. You know, you get real fucked up when you're 16, and then I'd sneak out of the porch and smoke a couple hits from my hitter. I'd just be fried. So this is already like 10 o'clock at night, a school night. I'm fucking fucked up, bro. Like just playing video games. Luke calls me. He's like, hey, we're going to see a movie. You want to go see it? I'm like, what movie? He's like, Saw. Never heard of it. Never had any idea. I was like, that sounds like a weird name. But I was like, I'm in. He's picking me up. Sure. I'm in, right? I'm drunk.
Why not?
I have no idea what I'm seeing. It could have been the English Patient, for all I knew. No, it was Saw. And just going to that movie blind, you know, like now that would never happen because you'd already know the fucking twist.
Sure, yeah.
Before the movie started. You know, I had no idea what this was. So that's why Saw is closer to my heart, because, like, just going to see that movie without knowing what I was seeing, without even what genre I was seeing, just made it awesome. And I was like, at the end, I was like, oh, fuck. I had to show this movie to everyone. Just because the ending is so fucking smart.
It was original at the time.
Just great, yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was something new.
Do you have an honorable mention at all, or?
What was the one I mentioned earlier? I didn't write down my honorable mention.
What was it? Fuck. I'm going to go to mine. I'll think about it while I do.
Yeah,
I have
go
more.
through your honorable mentions, yeah.
I don't know if you know this one, but it's Benjamin Linus from Lost.
Oh,
TV show.
Yeah,
The kind of bug-eyed dude.
I know. What you're
So
talking about,
what's weird about it, he ends up being almost a protagonist towards the end of the series.
yeah.
Because they take him over, but he does a lot of shit. Like
Yeah.
throughout the series, he in the first season torments the group, Jack and Kate, and does all this shit, kills a couple of them. But then as the show progresses, before he becomes a protagonist, they go to the history how he was on the island as a boy, and he essentially kills all of the Dharma Initiative. He finds the others in the forest, and his dad is like an abusive drunk, and he's always like talking down to him. He says, "Fuck it, I want to leave this place," but they won't let him leave. So he organizes this thing with the others to pretty much kill 100 people as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And then just all the shit he does, and again, he's not as bad as some of the other guys here, but
That's good.
in the
I
show,
haven't seen that forever. Yeah.
he's a villain. You hate him. His face, it's just
I remember.
he's smart and conniving.
Yeah, he
and,
was always like 3 steps ahead of everyone. Like, because the people landed had no clue what was going on, but he knew the ins and outs.
Yeah, right. Act like he was innocent. Yeah. So, all right. And then my first one I don't mention here, the last I don't mention is Calvin Candy, Django,
Oh, yeah.
Leo.
Yeah. I consider him as well.
And I guess for me, it's that he's the worst. He's the worst of them, of all those. At least in the movie, but in general, he's the worst kind of the slaver.
Yeah.
The one that was he was the entitled one that had handed it to him, and I feel like he enjoyed, when the dog scene, when the guy doesn't want to do the end fighting anymore, and he's just like, well, yeah. Even though they offer to buy him, he's like, I don't want to. No, you don't want to buy him. Stick the dogs on him, and he actually enjoys that. You know what I mean? That's the problem, is that he does some bad things. That was more of a product of the time,
Yeah.
and where he's living. But he was the one that really took. He loved the Mandingo fighting, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was no ounce of him that's damn, this person's gonna die. When they show the first Mandingo fight and his guy wins, he tosses the guy the hammer, finish him, gives him the cold beer.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, they're just property or entertainment. So
yeah,
but yeah. To me, I thought about putting him as well, but there were so many other slave owner, slave driver, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I don't know. That he just seemed to be the final boss, I suppose. It didn't seem like he was manipulating. If I went back and watched it, maybe he was, but it didn't seem like he was the one really. They were looking for these 2 guys at first, the 2 brothers, I think. And they,
Brittle brothers.
Yeah, and that led him to what's his name,
right?
Candy. So,
yeah. I just also love Leo's performance, and it's so evil, man. And the thing about Leo is how great he is. He does a role like that. Certain guys get typecast, and people hate this guy because of a single role. I never heard anyone be like, I don't like Leo because that's anything. I like him more.
Yeah,
because he played this asshole, and we all know he's charismatic, and
he's still trying to save the trees.
How great is Leo, by the way?
He's a good guy.
Have you ever heard a single peep about him in any? You don't know anything about him. No one does, right? His personal life. We know he dates younger girls.
Yes.
Right? Almost like a Derek Jeter situation. You never heard anything about Derek Jeter?
Sure.
But Leo was famous at a real young age, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm going to draw this parallel real quick. LeBron and Leo. Nobody's handled fame better than those 2 guys. Because LeBron was famous at 16.
Yeah.
On the cover of ESPN, high school games getting broadcast. The next fucking MJ. Leo was, Gilbert Grape, but Titanic. From that point on, he was 21 in Titanic, but man, he's squeaky clean.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him, in terms of bad things he's done.
Also, I know he was part of what they call them, the frat pack.
Uh-huh.
So they were notorious for the Pussy Posse, is what their nickname was, right?
Oh, he's hooked up a lot of girls, but I haven't heard any misconduct or anyone. I haven't heard anyone saying anything bad about
I think
him.
they did some pretty sketchy stuff that wouldn't fly today, but I don't know.
Right.
I don't know specifics.
I'm just saying, you think you would have heard a bad story about him?
Yeah.
That's a fake rumor or something? I haven't heard anything.
No, he seems to.
The only thing LeBron's ever done wrong is, besides flopping here and there, is the decision.
And that's what's wrong about that.
He raised a shitload of money for charity.
He just made a choice. He made a personal choice.
He bragged about moving on, but those guys are just. I respect them, and I love Leo. He's Jack Nicholson 2.0.
The only reason people hated him for bragging was because he had the ESPN, which was the platform at the time. Now people brag about it all the time. I guarantee everyone, I'm taking my talents. I'm taking anytime they're moving. That's almost a meme now. So.
All right, what do you got?
My number 5 is. It's Alonzo Harris. It's Denzel Washington in Training Day. One of my favorite movies. Just initially watching it, he seems he really embodied the hip hop culture at the time, which I mean, he seemed like the cool dude. He was supposed to be the guy's mentor, Ethan Hawke's mentor. Ends up being just just a dirty cop, real shithead.
It gets real bad towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, Denzel, he's just a great actor. I just love the transition from. I mean, you could kind of tell he was a little bit of a jerk at least in the beginning, but you didn't see him as corrupt. And then just Ethan Hawke's like dilemma, how Denzel just kept him.
Kills the one guy in that drug bust.
It just kept him on the hook the whole time. Like the guy is like had him smoke PCP just to, so now like if you say anything, I'll just have him drug test you. You're fucked. Like just manipulative stuff like that. And it took Ethan Hawke quite a while to realize, oh, okay, like I need to get out of this situation. So it just the love for the movie, just the way Denzel plays him, and just that was a big thing for me at the time. I thought Denzel was like a cool character at first. He embodied the cool culture. So
and it's nice that Denzel's another one of these guys that can play like Leo did in Django.
Yeah,
this terrible character, right? And no one blinks at it. It's like no one thinks like anything about Denzel. We're like certain, on this list you'll see some of these guys got a little bit typecast,
sure, because
they did it so well and it kind of became them.
Yeah,
and Denzel is just above all that. Like he's just Denzel.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. All right, my number 5 is Anton Chigurh. No Country for Old Men.
Okay,
It's played by Javier Bardem. He's a decent actor. I don't really know much about him.
Yeah.
I love that movie. He's just the definition of a sociopath in that movie. He when he's just trying to get a car, he just will, instead of stealing the car, he'll make sure he kills him. And the scene for me that does it is he doesn't actually even kill the guy. It's the coin flip scene with the old guy, where essentially what they're trying to portray is that he's flipping the coin for the guy's life, and the guy's like, well, what do I have to gain?
What am I flipping for?
It's like you have everything, even and he's talking about how old the coin is, and if you lost that coin flip, you're dead for no reason.
Yeah,
right?
Tells him not to put it in his pocket because that coin,
So just cold-blooded, and even the way when Woody Harrelson's in that movie a little bit, and he actually knows him, and the main character that Leslie, I don't know what his name is, but has the money, and he somehow meets up with Woody, and Woody's like, "This, you're fucked. You're gonna die. He's gonna find you. He's gonna find you. He's gonna find your girl. He's gonna find your parents. He's gonna find anyone, and he's gonna get the money back. And not only get the money back, he's gonna kill you."
Yeah, I like that one because the guy, what's his name? The character's name?
Anton Chigurh. His name is character's name is Anton Chigurh. Yeah.
So what's great about him is it's based in reality. He's human, but he seems more than human. He seems invulnerable.
Almost like a T-1000.
Feels like you could shoot him with a shotgun point blank, and he might shoot his arm off, but he's gonna keep walking.
Yeah.
He's a Frankenstein's monster or a zombie. He's inhuman, but obviously it's based in reality. So
he's almost not in reality. The scene where he blows up the car to get the fucking pharmacy.
Yeah.
It's just casually lights a thing, puts it in the gas tank.
Yeah.
Fucking explosion, wanders right in there.
Always in control, bro. Never out of control.
You know how frantic I'd be if I did that and I had to get these the drugs for my fucking wound.
Yeah.
He just chill as fuck. Yeah. So all right, number 4.
For me, Christopher Waltz, Hans Landa, the Inglourious Basterds.
Ooh, Hans Landa, yeah.
Yeah, he just his intelligence. He seems very human. The way he speaks to people, he's very personable. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. If he wasn't wearing a Nazi uniform, if he was wearing an American uniform, and that was the opening scene, you would think he's a good guy, trying to do right. But the only perceivable bad thing about him, outside of when he kills the actress and stuff, is the only bad thing you really see him do is wear the Nazi uniform. It feels like
he's orchestrating it, and I'm gonna spoiler alert. That's my number 4, so we'll piggyback this one. Nice, both of our number 4s.
Yeah.
It's the way he goes about it, and it's not the arrogance. It's the same kind of thing I had about Calvin Candy. He enjoys it, the whole milk scene, man. You can tell it's a game to him, and he enjoys. He takes pleasure, and when he says that, when he's like, "Do you know what they call me?" And the guy's like, "I do." He's like, "What do they call me?" He's like, "The Jew Hunter." He's like, "Most people would not like that name, but I take He's like, "I like the name because I've earned that right or whatever, And he's calling the Jews a rat, and he's like, "I know how to flush them out. I know how to think like a Jew." And the way he's classifying these people based on their religion is just they're less than him, beyond less than him. They deserve to die in his mind. And it wasn't just orders for that dude.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, there was definitely an air of superiority he carried. So.
Yeah. So I just mostly just had the milk scene is just the one.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. Actually.
Yeah. And yeah, the thing is, Tarantino knows how to. That's obviously one was a honorable mention for me, but those are two Tarantinos.
Yeah.
Knows how to paint a villain. Knows how to create a villain. All right, so that was my number 4 as well. So we'll go to your number 3.
Number 3, Heath Ledger as the Joker, Dark Knight. Really started for me. Obviously, I'm big into superhero movies, comic book movies, and just that performance. I mean, it's. I wasn't a big fan of the Batman Begins, the first one. In hindsight, watching it again, I enjoyed it. This really, I mean, just the opening scene with the movie. I just love the movie, I suppose, and I think Heath Ledger carried. I mean, he was the movie for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he embodied the villain perfectly. It felt like a comic book movie, but
I don't like Batman Begins that much either.
Yeah.
I actually like the third one better with Bane. Better than Begins, even though that's again Dark Knight.
Me too. I almost put Bane. I'm a big fan of Bane too.
Yeah. Have you seen? They have Bane in one of the Return, like the middle ones in the '90s. Yeah, it might not be the Arnold one. But
yeah,
after
Poison
Arnold,
Ivy.
He's all like green and big, like the Hulk. Really bad version of Bane.
Well, that's the comic book version because he has the chemicals
right.
that will.
I like this Bane better.
Yeah, it's more based in reality. Yeah.
But yeah, the Joker. He took it. So obviously the crown jewel of the Jokers was Nicholson, right? But Nicholson played it almost more like Phoenix did. It was more of a jokey, even at the end, the last scene in the 89 version when they're in the tall tower and he's pulling his teeth out. He's got the fake teeth and he's got the fake hand and like he's still telling jokes at the end. Like Heath Ledger's playing it dark.
Yeah.
And like not mentally disturbed, but just like I don't give a fuck when he burns all that money. You know, like, and it hard for me to. I love Heath Ledger so much.
Yeah.
Hard for me to ever paint him as a villain, but that's the beauty of Heath Ledger is that he played one of the worst characters ever. Being, you know, if you watch Brokeback or any of his other movies, like Heath Ledger is a very soft-spoken, very gentle guy.
Yeah. And
he played this as a fucking psychopath.
He definitely humanized the villain. Like there was human qualities in him.
That first scene, man, is just.
Yeah.
That's one of the best opening scenes in any movie in my mind.
Yeah, that's when like IMAX first started coming out too. Because I remember seeing like the trailer, like seeing a different movie in the theater, and that popped up, and you're just like, oh shit, I want to see that. Like, forget what I'm watching now. Let's go see that.
One of my favorite bank heist scenes ever.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
dope.
in a Batman movie, and like
So
you know,
dope.
it's you don't know which one Heath Ledger is, and then you know the last guy's about to shoot him, and he's like, "No, I killed the bus driver."
Yeah.
Like somehow waits for the perfect time. That guy could have shot him. That's movie convenience, right?
Yeah.
But because he didn't give a shit, he could whatever, you know.
It wasn't. He was just doing it to create like
chaos.
Yeah,
right. That's
exactly.
what he always says in the movie. All right, my number 3, Commodus, Gladiator, Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
Really, this is the definition of
That's
my list right here.
That's a good one.
Guys like this because they're not. You know, they're seen as good people a lot of times because in this case becomes like the ruler or whatever.
Yeah.
But just from the beginning part when his dad, who's the king of Rome or whatever, tries to give it to Russell Crowe.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Crowe's like, I want to get back to my family on a farm. And then when he learns about this, that he's not going to take the throne, kills his dad, and then he knows that Russell Crowe knows that it's not his throne, that he did it. And Russell Crowe tries speaking up, so has him, what he thought was killed.
Yeah.
And then besides that, goes the extra mile of sending the fucking 5 or 6 troops to his farm to kill the fucking wife and the fucking 6-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's bad enough, but then he tries to fuck his sister a shitload of times in the movie.
Yeah.
So, and I get it.
Sounds just like Game of Thrones.
In Rome, it's not like me trying to fuck my sister now. It doesn't sound good, but it's different now, right? Like, and we also don't live in the South. In the South, you can do that kind of shit.
The emperor of the free world.
Right. And his sister was pretty hot. But you can have any girl you want. Why are you trying to bang your sister, bro?
Yeah, well, that's the one thing that's supposed to be off limits.
Right, yeah. So then he could do it, no one would fucking do anything, right?
Yeah.
And then just the way at the end when they're finally going to fight and he fucking stabs Russell Crowe to, like, pretty much he's going to bleed out. He thinks he could beat him even though Russell Crowe still does beat him.
Yeah.
But just the way he carries himself in that movie, the way he abuses the power, even though he was a weak-ass dude, insecure, just the whole 9 yards, right? Like, but he could never portray that because he's supposed to be a leader.
Have you the final scene where they fight and Russell won? Have you seen The Last Duel?
Mm-mm.
With Matt Damon, Adam Driver, and I forget who else is in it.
Is the new thing?
It's on HBO Max right now. It's it's relatively new. It's probably 2.5 hours. It's set in like 13th century France. It's honestly really good. I recommend it. It's essentially these two friends that are vying for position within the kingdom, and then I'm not going to spoil it, but you watch the same story 3 different times. So you watch it from one friend's perspective, from the other friend's perspective, and then from the wife's perspective. Ooh. Because essentially it's 3 different versions of the same story, right. And so then they do a really good job of it. Like the subtle differences where you can see how that there's this misunderstanding, even though, I mean, they're all kind of shitty people. Right. So something to
Russell Crowe, real quick.
Yeah.
Have you seen him recently?
Is he back in shape again?
He's huge. You saw him. It's not even recently, like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Man, and Russell Crowe was like, I mean, obviously for that movie, one of the hottest things. Biggest stars.
The world.
I have that written down.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe, fat, and then South Park.
Tugger,
Tugger. Like notorious dick, and also like
Drunk.
Want to be like a musician, which is weird because I think he's Australian, correct?
I think so.
And like, he's like the one asshole Australian. Like Heath Ledger's Australian. Like most of the people that we hear about from Australia are like awesome people.
Yeah, I think he's just a drunk.
So he doesn't count as an Australian. He's
just a drunk. Like I think that's why he's an asshole.
But like what? Like him and Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer also. Oh man, he's even worse. But like, again, I am not one to talk, guys. I've gained 100 pounds from high school, but I look much better than those guys.
I think Russell. He had a movie with it was a detective movie with who's the guy from like La La Land? I don't know. The girls like him.
Matt Damon.
Ryan Gosling.
Ooh.
So that's not. He's in a movie within the last 2 or 3 years with Ryan Gosling.
Better?
He wasn't super heavy like he was in those pictures that you saw like a decade ago.
And then I had one more thing. This has nothing to do with anything, but so South Park. I watched Broadway Bro Down last night.
Oh, nice.
My favorite episodes. The Broadway.
I respect you too, bro.
Right? Like this blowjobs. Like so great. It's Jaren just like, I got something for you.
Shitty.
When he gets back, he's like, dude, 20 minutes in the car, 10 minutes when I got home. Dude, Broadway shows are awesome.
I love it at the end when Spider-Man was just trying to help you because he loves you. Shitty.
The vegan finally takes off his life preserver and
drowns,
one person drowns. Oh, God. All right, number 2. What you got?
Josh Brolin, a.k.a. Thanos in the Avengers. I don't know.
So that's the good guy from No Country for Old Men, correct? Or no? Is that
I wouldn't call him a good guy.
But that's
movie, he's the main character.
Right. Okay.
It follows him.
I guess he's a good guy compared to anti-hero.
So for Thanos, he's doing his voice. So it's an animated.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, the voice he lends to it, he does a phenomenal job. What's cool is this. I mean, for the first Avengers that he's in, Thanos, he actually wins. He accomplishes what he's trying to do. He wipes out half the population. Spoiler alert! Half the population in the universe. So he actually wins. So it continues to the next movie, and I don't know, just his convictions. Like it doesn't feel like he's doing it for like an ego reason or because he's crazy. It's because he has a legitimate reason. And as you continue to watch the movies throughout the MCU, the universe, the extended universe, you start to realize he was right. Like he actually prevented something worse from happening. So I mean, he was wrong, obviously, in it, but just the way he's intelligent. I mean, he's determined and he has a lot of conviction. So I mean, it's easy to side with it, to sympathize with him, I should say. And it's a superhero movie. I mean, I enjoy those. So.
All right, my number 2, Emperor Palpatine,
okay.
Star Wars, and this, he's in almost every one of them. And he was the not the ambassador, but the senator, counselor, whatever. So it's in both lights. You don't, in the first 1 through 3, you don't realize he's actually the fucking Sith Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But just throughout the movies, And I did some research on these lists just to get ideas, right, on what people thought were.
Yeah.
A lot of people had Darth Vader as number one, which I disagree with, because Darth Vader, at the end, he does. I know he doesn't really make up for all the killing he's done, but he does save his son and kill the Emperor. And if you watch 1 through 3, Anakin was a good dude, a good person. Actually, he was too good of a person. He cared too much. He wanted to stop his mom from dying, stop Padme from dying during birth.
Yeah.
He didn't see the whole picture, but he was also getting brainwashed from fucking Palpatine.
Yeah.
And Palpatine manipulated people, and he was in charge of all of it. So, like, for me, you cannot have Darth Vader worse than Palpatine, because there would be no Darth Vader without Palpatine.
Yeah, for 3 decades, he was like controlling all the comings and goings of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an iconic franchise like that. That's the big bad.
And when he tells a story to Anakin, this is, I think, the beginning of episode 3, when he was talking about his master, and his master was the most powerful, and he ended up overthrowing him because he killed him in his sleep, because that was his one weakness, that he like trusted, or I don't know what he said it was his weakness, but like, so this dude would just stomp on you. And even the fact that the whole point of the original trilogy 4 through 6, it's funny how we have to say that, right? We can't just say original, like, because it's the way it's not in chronological order.
Yeah.
But the whole plan was he was going to kill. He didn't want Darth Vader anymore, because Darth Vader's body, the suit, he was getting old and decrepit, and he wasn't as powerful. So the whole point was to do to Luke what he did to Anakin.
Oh, okay.
Right? That was the whole point. And then when he realized that Luke wasn't going to do it, he's like, "Fuck it, I'll just take you, Darth, and I'll find a new one." Right? And like, so like
was that the same idea with Kylo Ren? He was trying to Was he trying to turn the chick?
Probably.
You don't.
Well, because it's not really him, and it's not him anymore.
It's like his clone.
It's that fucking thing, that big thing they have on like the projector. Like, we don't know. They don't really explain who that is. That's why I hate the newer movies.
That's Snoke.
Yeah,
right?
Snoke.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that is him or his.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Same idea though, right? Like,
sure.
But just Palpatine, just the way how he played so good, even though we all know he was fucking a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And no one even knew who he was, even though like it was clearly him. I don't know.
In hindsight, it's easy to tell. Once you figure out
right.
What's the spoiler? What's just revealed? Like, oh, that slimy motherfucker.
Well, when that battle happens with Samuel L. Jackson, and he gets electrocuted and his face changes, and he even explains to the Congress, he's like, they left me disfigured, even though he totally looks like an evil fuck. Like, that's what he's supposed to look like, right? And they still buy it. So even fucking Padme bought that shit.
Yeah.
Padme was dumb. I love her. Love her. All right, number 1, who do you got?
Well, it's best show of all time, Bryan Cranston, Walter White, Breaking Bad. Obviously starts off as the good guy. You start feeling sorry for him. Cancer, kid with cerebral palsy.
Right.
I think it's cerebral, whatever.
Yeah, some type of disorder.
Yeah. And you sympathize. You understand that he's doing this. He just make a couple bucks before he goes. And then slowly but surely he starts killing people for this. And then all of a sudden it becomes a power, a greed thing, an ego thing. And even towards the very end, he just comes back to essentially to kill people. Like just his transformation from the good guy that you're rooting for to the bad guy, and then you're almost confused. Like, should I be rooting for him now? I mean, it's
right, because you are for quite a while. Right?
I mean, I was gonna say
definitely the first season.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gus Fring, but like he becomes Gus Fring. Like he becomes. Like he kills him and then essentially takes his place and is almost more ruthless, more reckless. I
have a sad omission to make here. I've actually never watched the whole Breaking Bad. I know it's embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
I've seen the first season 3 times, and originally when it came out, I watched the first season like by myself. That was 10 years ago, or probably 13 years ago, or something.
Came out like 2006 or 7.
Yeah, there you go.
It was right out of high school.
So it's a long time ago. And then I tried watching another time, and I was like, okay, because it wasn't fresh. I was like, I rewatched the first season, and then I got bored again because I already kind of seen it.
Yeah. And
then recently with Erica, I was like, let's watch it, and she's just not into it.
Yeah.
Even though I tell her, like, I know it's a good show. I know it gets better apparently. Like,
yeah. Well, once you start getting into the
I need to
the cliff, like season 2 and 3. Oh yeah.
Right. Like, I'm more of a Lost guy. I've seen Lost multiple times, which I probably should have watched Lost the third time. I should have probably just watched.
It's worth it. If you can get through it, like it's
Yeah, I think I will one of these days.
Yeah, it's worth it for sure. I've probably seen it 2 or 3 times.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That good.
It's probably my favorite show.
And I love Bryan Cranston.
It's easily my favorite show.
I'm a big Bryan Cranston fan. Also, it was great as Bryan Cranston in Seinfeld.
Yes, as the dentist.
Yeah, great. When he converts to being Jewish for the jokes.
Yeah.
Pretty great. Everything about him in that show is great. When Jerry thinks that he's banging his like receptionist or whatever. When he's talking about he has a penthouse in the fucking lobby waiting room.
Doesn't he think that like he molests his patients too?
Yeah. Because his shirt was like, I tuck it in sometimes, I don't other times.
Yeah, he's buttoning.
Jerry always tucks in every shirt, which is super strange.
Yeah. Well, this is
the style. I don't know. Do you ever tuck in your shirt for no reason?
No, I just think that's the way it was.
Yeah. Would you ever tuck in a t-shirt?
No.
Like I only tuck in golf shirts.
Yeah, I'll do like a polo.
Yeah, and I like tucking it in when I play golf because I don't like loose stuff. I like to be a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with
sucked in.
But I mean, you button up, but like that's not. I don't know.
Unfortunately for me, tucking in isn't a flattering look because it.
Sure.
I'd rather be loosey because you don't. That's why I like this thing a lot because
it's a nice jacket.
Yeah, thanks. It kind of hides my belly. I don't know. It's like a girdle.
Sure.
All right, my number one. You're gonna love this one. This is a deep dive one. I didn't have this on my list until today. I made this list about a month ago, and I forgot about this guy. It's a movie I love, and I think you love too. Colonel William Tabington, Patriot.
I couldn't even tell you who's in that movie.
That's Mel Gibson and Heath Ledger.
Okay. No, I'm not familiar with it.
That's a good one. Okay, I'll tell you about it.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, he's just it's similar to a Commodus, like that kind of evil. He's like the leader of the British Army. It's the Revolutionary War movie.
Okay, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, he kills
his sons, right?
He kills his like second youngest son for like no reason when they come.
I've seen it. It's a good movie. I've seen
and then throughout the movie, he's just the bad guy, and he's just killing kids, and then there's a scene where the whole Mel Gibson group, they're like the renegades, right? Like they're going around like ambushing the fucking redcoats, and they're getting help from this village where Heath Ledger is engaged to this girl. Like it's a village of maybe 70, 80 people, and like that's where they got some of their recruits, but that's like kind of where their home base is. They're not staying there, but they're getting their information, their resources from them.
Sure.
And one of his right hand man. William Tabington's right hand man is an American that they transferred over, obviously for like they figured Britain's gonna win the war, and he has all the insight on Mel Gibson and the guys. He finds out that's the town they're going to, so they take everyone in the town, take them to the church, 50 people, right? And they ask for the information. Where are they hiding out? Then no one's saying anything. They're like, "We're gonna kill you if you don't tell us." And then someone tells them where they're hiding out, and he said, "Thank you very much." Locks the doors, burns the fucking church, kills them. Even though they got the information, kids, women, children, the whole village. That scene right there, like that's pure evil.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. You got what you wanted, just killing them, and no one wanted to, but obviously you got to take orders, right?
Mm.
And then he ends up killing Heath Ledger, which. For me, he's gonna put you down a little bit. I even know. Maybe he's the one that killed him in the hotel room. I don't fucking know. Like, fucking goddamn you, William Tabington.
Time traveler. Yeah.
Fuck. Damn it. So yeah, just played by Jason Isaacs, by the way. I don't know much about him. He's got a really unlikable face. Did a great job though. Obviously, all these guys they're doing great jobs because they're very convincing. And it's not just the writing. Like it. I don't know if I could do that good of a job. They wouldn't take me serious. Like I'd be like, who's this fat fuck? All right, Rob's ranks.
All right.